Welcome back to the Lessons from the Animal series. We're now recovering the tiger boxing and tiger styles lessons. So again, these lessons can apply to any art, which is why I'm not specifically going to say this is tiger boxing only video. And just like the other videos are not only snake style, only eagle style. But these are principles that we're trying to learn, once again, from the roots of which these styles came from. Learning from the animals, learning from our everyday experiences, and then applying them to our arts. So whether you're a Baguazhang practitioner, an MMA practitioner, or whatever, you can learn from these and apply them to your arts, however you may see fit. But today, we're talking about a lesson that we can learn from tigers. So in the last video that we covered about tigers, we're talking mostly about torso movement and engaging the torso, because the tigers utilize their whole bodies and pin you with their body weight. So every movement that we do must be with the force of the torso. With this video, we're going to be talking more about the mindset of the tiger. So within martial mindsets is what we're going to be covering today. So most people, like untrained people, when they get into a fight, they typically have very poor responses. Some of them may freeze up and in fear, or they might not freeze up, but they might have fear responses, so they tighten themselves up, which inhibits actual flow and power in your techniques, and it makes you very passive defensive, right? So if I start to clam up, right, turtle up, I might not be thinking about how to stop the conflict. I might just be thinking, how do I stop the immediate thing that's threatening me? But that doesn't end the conflict, right? If my opponent is set on beating me up and I'm only set on deflecting his incoming attacks, eventually he's going to throw enough attacks that I get overwhelmed. Because if there's no offense to retaliate, there's nothing to stop him from just keep on coming. So we can't clam ourselves up in fear, nor stiffen ourselves up. Because as they say, there's a fight or flight response, but there's actually fight, flight, freeze. Freeze is always the response that we see deer in headlights, right? And that actually happens in humans as well. When big stress comes on, freeze. That happens in a lot of people. So we can't let that happen. So within the tiger mindset, we try to alleviate that, as well as anger mind. Because also within fights, typically they start from like disagreements. So you might be with someone at the bar and you have a disagreement, and some people are a little bit too wasted, and suddenly you're a bit angry and you want to fight, and this guy's angry too, and blah, blah, blah. However the situation might play out, anger is something that tunnel visions us, and it makes us very easy to trick. My grand teacher, Master Ma, would always say, if you want to beat someone up, make them angry. Makes them very easy to trick. So because of the tunnel vision, right, they're only dead set on, I'm going to hurt you, they're going to be a lot more susceptible to out-of-the-box tactics, things coming from the shadow, things coming from unknown angles, because they're only dead set on, I'm going to hurt you, right? The more tunnel vision we get, the more focused on the exact target of which our anger is towards, but we forget about everything else, right? So if I'm angry and I'm angry at this guy, I might forget that he has friends, and I might not be able to see them in the periphery as I'm beating up this dude, and they come in and beat the shit out of me, right? Or the guy that I'm fighting might hit me from blind spots. That might be a big problem. So you can see, like, if you sum these up, a lot of these problems come up when there's emotion involved. So fear is a big one. Anger is a big one. The more emotion that is involved with the fighting, with the mindset, the more it inhibits our emotions, the more it inhibits our ability to defend ourselves. So with the tiger mindset, it's trying to alleviate emotional response so that we can just focus on what needs to be done, and not focused in a way that's tunnel visioned, but focused in a way that we're only going to do the most efficient path forward to end this conflict, so to speak. Because we take back now and look at tigers, for example, right? When they're hunting, they're not hunting out of malice. They're not hunting out of anger. They're not hunting out of fear. They're hunting because they're hungry. They're hunting because of primitive instinct that they need to do to survive. So when they hunt the deer, they don't hate the deer. They're not fearful of the deer. They're not trying to harm the deer per se in the way that they are intentionally, like in the same way that a malicious person would intentionally screw over a person's reputation. It's not malicious in that way. It's just, this is the thing that's going to help me survive. There's nothing else to it, right? There's only survival. I eat this so I can survive. It's not to hurt the deer per se, but it's to help the tiger itself. So in that same way, if we can get that sort of tiger predator mindset, we can take the emotion out of it so that we can only focus on the task at hand. So when our opponent comes at us and he tries to, intimidate us, we won't be fearful. We won't climb up. Instead, we'll just be ready. We'll be ready for the attack, and we'll be locked on, and we'll be able to end this efficiently as possible. And when he's getting angry and starting to rile himself up and blah, 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 and screw you and your mother, blah, 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 we won't get angry. We'll only be ready. Instead of tightening up in a way that's like, I'm angry, and then lifting our center of gravity, tightening ourselves up so our speed is bad and our power is bad. Instead, we'll soften and be ready. So that's ultimately what we are looking to do with this mindset, is to not let all that emotion influence us, but rather to only have a mindset for get the task done. Doesn't need to have any malice, doesn't need to have any emotion. Just get the task done. It needs to be done. This is survival, right? So that's the mindset, and what we're trying to learn here from the tiger today is just none of that other stuff matters. Once the fight has begun, there's only the fight. End the fight. Don't let any of that other stuff influence you or hinder you. So that is the tiger's mindset, and that's the lesson we're learning from today in the tiger. See you in the next video.